Greetings, scholars. I want to take a few moments to talk to you about the guidelines for the discipline paper and what you're going to do with the paper. So, again, let's talk about the essay length of the paper. As usual, you're going to be writing 5 typed pages, 5 double-spaced pages. Okay, Times New Roman size 12 font. Because this is a discipline paper and this paper is a reflection of what you do in your major discipline, you are going to use either MLA or APA style to document the paper. So if you are a communications major, more than likely you're going to use MLA format. If you are a political science or a psychology major, more than likely you're going to use APA format. I leave that decision up to you and your major. So whatever major, whatever documentation style your major requires, use that documentation style for this paper, but make sure that you follow all of the guidelines for doing a strictly MLA paper or strictly APA paper. So I want to talk to you about your topic. As you all know, we've been at war with Ukraine. Not we, Russia and Ukraine have been at war for, let's say, the last 6 months. Okay. Uh, for this paper, you are going to relate your major to the war in Ukraine. Okay. The war in Ukraine provides a situation that affects people from all walks of life. As a future professional, you will come across situations that will challenge you to think outside of the box on responding to problems of people and events. Are you prepared? Are you receiving the guidance from your college curriculum to prepare you for the challenges you will face after graduation? This paper, or the discipline paper, affords students the opportunity to critically think about the impact they will have on a community and how students might respond or react to a difficult situation. Use the following as a guide to writing the discipline paper. So I want to make sure that you do this. So those of you who are social work majors, one of the things about the Ukraine war that has happened is families have been torn apart. As a social work major, you're going to focus the paper, part of the paper, on how you're going to help children in Ukraine deal with the loss of their parents, deal with the traumatic effect that having their homes bombed or burned or having to flee their home will have on them. You're a social work major. You deal with children and adults, right? How are you going to help people in war torn Ukraine, right? Uh, Children who've lost their parents, parents who've lost their children, right? If you are a communications major, one of the things that has come out of Ukraine is a lot of false information. Okay. Uh, Mass media from Russia has oftentimes displayed a rosy picture of what's going on in Ukraine, right? So, fake news, right? As a communications major, whether you're going to be in radio, television, production, camera, right? Those of you who are doing camera work, a lot of cameramen, a lot of photographers have been killed reporting on the war in Ukraine. Are you ready to risk your lives in order to get the story? You're going to focus the paper on how you would deal, right, with the war in Ukraine from whatever perspective. Okay. Uh, Urban region planning. Buildings have been destroyed, right? Schools, hotels, apartment buildings, major national monuments, right? as an urban region planning major, what are you going to do to help those people rebuild? How do you suggest uh, they start to rebuild? Okay, use your discipline. What is your discipline? What is your major? How are you going to address the topic in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine? And remember, your paper has to be focused on how you are going to address the situation that is going on in Ukraine. So you have sections here. Again, this paper is divided into sections. It doesn't matter if you're doing MLA format or APA format. You're going to keep the section heading. So I want to see section number 1, and I want you to put the name of your major. In this case, I just put criminal justice. And then look at the paragraphs, right? Section 1 has 3 paragraphs. Section 2, keep the heading. It deals with the war in Ukraine. Section 3 deals with problems. Section 4 deals with solutions. And Section 5 deals with the conclusion. Okay, so you've already written this paper before. You've already written a problem solution paper this semester, and you're going to use it again, the format again, to help you with the discipline paper. Okay, so as far as grading, remember to get the A, you must write 5 full pages. There should be a little on page 6, right? A B paper is graded at 4.5, 4 3/4. A C paper is graded at 3.5, 3/4. A D paper, you just gave me, turned in the assignment. Yeah, you are going to receive a failing grade on that. Okay, so make sure that you understand all of this before you start writing the discipline paper. Read over my guidelines and watch this video as many times as you need to, especially if you don't understand something. And as always, feel free to email me if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer them. I will see you in the next video.